mic stand, hold on. I'm also gonna open my water because when I was practicing I needed a sip and realized that was too much work. Hello! Awesome, thank you guys for coming out tonight. Wasn't everyone amazing so far? Tough act to follow, I'll see what I can do. I'm so incredibly grateful and honored to be here with you guys tonight. I actually just moved to the area from Massachusetts. I don't know if any northerners in the room, but I obviously moved here for the ease of traffic and the cheap housing, right? And it used to be when you were moving to Florida, people would ask you questions. They were like, oh, are you relocating for work? Are you tired of winters? Do you love Mickey Mouse? Nowadays, when you're moving to Florida, everyone thinks you're making a political statement. Yeah. I told someone I was moving down, and he just looked at me and said, what are you, a Trumpa?
Trump!
Saw that coming. No, I just want to get away from you in your professional cycling shorts, even though we all know you ride on Saturdays, Trent. Michelle, we have those same cyclist assholes up north. The only difference is they're not waiting in line for a scone, they're at a Dunkin' Donuts. But oh my goodness, there are so many differences between Massachusetts and Florida. First off, and I'm sure Floridians will not be surprised by this, but I have an alligator in my backyard. I have a goddamn dinosaur in my backyard. Massive prehistoric reptiles hanging out by my kid's swing set wasn't a huge thing in Massachusetts, but here, it's like land of the lost. Seriously, in Mass, you might hit a deer with your car, but that deer is never gonna eat your kids or your dog. And around here, you're just supposed to pretend it's totally normal. It's not fucking normal, okay? Anywhere else in the entire nation, if just one alligator got loose, they would literally shut down the entire city. Here, they're just like squirrels. Really big, nasty squirrels that want to eat you. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. So, I'm a mom, I have 2 kids, and I figured, you know what, I gotta put up a fence, right? Because there's an alligator in my backyard. And so we put up a fence, and of course that's when I found out alligators can climb fences. Who knew? And the only thing scarier than seeing an alligator on the opposite side of the fence is seeing that son of a bitch climb over it. I guess he figures he was here first. And then I thought about it too, there's guns everywhere down here. Everyone has a gun. People are packing heat right now, I'm sure of it, right? And I thought about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. People are trying to protect themselves from the fence climbing alligators. But turns out that's not it at all. And I'm not exactly sure what it is. But I do know that in Massachusetts, someone might shoot you, but the chances of someone maybe shooting me in Florida is exponentially higher. Luckily, I live in a gated community. We got an amazing house down here, super excited about it. And it even has a bidet, so super fancy, right? The only problem was, I had no idea how to use a bidet. And it turns out, if you're not actually sitting on the bidet, then it turns into the fountains at the Bellagio. Oops. And as I mentioned, we have kids. Being in Florida, we obviously had to get an au pair as well. But even with all these fancy things, house in a gated community, a bidet, an au pair, I still love a bargain. I recently signed on to do a $55,000 brand immersion for my mindset business. And as part of the brand immersion, we had to travel to Nashville to do a photo shoot. And where do you think I went to get my clothes? Ross. I love Ross. When we were talking with the realtor down here, she was asking, oh, okay, so what's important to you? Good schools, certain neighborhoods, you know, how many bedrooms, bathrooms? And I just said, make sure it's near a Ross. There is literally a Ross on every corner. I love it. On one hand, there's Ross on every corner, and on the other hand, something might shoot or eat you. And it was really funny because when I went to the branding photo shoot, someone was like, oh my gosh, I love your outfit. Where did you get it? And I didn't tell them where I got it. I just looked at them and said, oh, my stylist got it for me. I don't trouble myself with such trivial matters. And all the time I'm thinking, it's Ross, it's fucking Ross. And not only did I get a brand new set of outfits, but I also got a comforter, 4 coffee mugs, and some towels to replace the ones I used in the bidet incident. And like I said, I'm a mindset development coach, so I help C-level executives and entrepreneurs discover their passions and help bridge business with purpose. That's straight from my LinkedIn profile. And being a mindset coach is absolutely incredible, but it's gotta suck to be married to one. Because I truly believe that nothing is impossible, and I am always paying attention to words. My poor husband. The other day he says to me, oh, I have to go pick up the dry cleaning. And I just looked at him and said, you don't have to, you get to. Wasn't a fan of that one. But seriously, it took a huge mindset shift just to marry my husband, because when we first started dating, there were a lot of red flags. And I mean a lot of red flags, okay? I guess I saw those red flags as opportunities, maybe? So red flag number 1, he would never let me go to his house. And all my friends were like, he's married, he's a serial killer, he's gonna put you in a freezer. Turns out his apartment was a shithole. It was basically one room with a toilet, a hot plate, and a mini fridge. Which was kind of ironic, because he also told me he went to culinary school. And I thought, oh yeah, that's exactly how Bobby Flay and Emerald got started. Just a mattress, a hot plate, and a dream. Red flag number 2. He didn't even have a car, okay? Now, mind you, I was almost 30 when I met him, so it's not like I was 17. But the good news about that is I knew for a fact he wasn't a serial killer, because I'm pretty sure they need a van, and I know there's no way I was sitting in his freezer. So that was good. Red flag number 3. He took me to Denny's on our 3rd date. Yeah, that was really happening. And not only did he take me to Denny's, but he ordered steak and shrimp. True story. No one in the history of Denny's has ever ordered steak or shrimp, never mind together. The waitress came back 3 separate times just to confirm the order. Maybe they were out back looking for it in the walk-in cooler, I don't know. But when the steak did come out, it was purple. I kid you not. It was fucking purple. Which would obviously only seem edible to someone who's used to cooking all their meals on a hot plate. So, my date got up and ended up going to the bathroom, could have been the purple steak. And I spotted my cousin across the way at the restaurant, also known as Denny's. And so my cousin starts walking toward me, and I just see it in his eyes. He's like super excited to ask me who this guy is, and I'm like, oh, hell no. And so I just looked at my cousin and said, don't expect to see him at any family parties. 12 years later, my then date, now husband, is carving the turkey at Thanksgiving, and my cousin is laughing his ass off. Yeah, I love you. But nothing was as big of a red flag as what happened when we had our first child. Oh my God. So I was 2 weeks late, which if you've ever been pregnant, is the longest 2 weeks of your entire fucking life. I was 2 weeks late, 9.5 months pregnant, basically, and we were being induced the next day. And it was right around my husband's birthday, and a friend of ours was having a party. And so I said, you know what? Let's just have one last hurrah, right? Now, my idea at 9.5 months pregnant of a last hurrah is hanging out with friends and being home by 9 or 10, because tomorrow we're going to have a baby. And I'm not exactly sure what sent me into labor that night. Might have been bad timing. Could have been a questionable queso. But most likely, it was having to drag my drunk husband off of the beer pong table where he's just won 9 consecutive rounds and been crowned champion. Yeah, that's it. And not only did I have to drag myself home through the agonizingly, increasingly getting worse contractions, but I also had to drive myself to the hospital 3 hours later when I went into full-blown labor. Yeah, that happened. Not good at all. So fast forward 12 hours and 3 failed epidurals later. Yes, I said failed. Do you know what this beer pong motherfucker had the audacity to say to me? Okay? He looked at me in my bloodshot, been in labor for at least 15 hours eyes and said, "Ugh, you have no idea how awful I feel right now."
I love you, Ryan.
I could literally hear myself blink and obviously wanted to strangle him with the umbilical cord. Can you believe I had another baby with that man? But in all honesty, he's an amazing man, an incredible husband, great dad, and he's super, super considerate, right? That's really important to me. You know, he holds the door for people, and I also like to hold the door for people. And I'm not expecting them to throw me a parade or anything, but I am expecting them to say thank you, right? So I don't know if anyone else does this, but I kind of have this welcome exchange in my head, right? I'm going to hold the door open for them, and they're going to walk through and say, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." And then I'm just going to say, "Oh, no problem, don't even worry about it, pay it forward." And maybe a little bird will land on my shoulder as I wave goodbye. Now, when they don't say thank you, that narrative changes pretty quickly. And I basically want to look at them and say, "I hate you in your pantsuit. Screw your mother, fuck your ancestors." I know that escalated pretty quickly, but that's just me. I can't be quiet sometimes. I was actually at a bar a couple weeks back, and a girl came up to me and said, "I love your dress. It's very Easter brunch." What the fuck is that? I'm pretty sure that wasn't a compliment, because it was neither Easter nor was it brunch. And I'm almost positive no woman ever went out on a Friday night trying to rob her Easter brunch dress. Now, if you need me, I need to go find my Easter bonnet. Thank you so much.